The blank space. I hate this chair. It's molded plastic, designed for easy cleaning, not for a person currently trying to keep their insides from becoming their outsides. The hospital lighting is cruel. It highlights the cracks in the ceiling and the utter lack of humanity in the industrial carpet. I'm here because of a small, sudden emergency, nothing life-threatening, but enough to get me processed and seated here, amidst the low, insistent hum of anxiety. A gentle cough pulls my attention forward. A young clerk, professionally exhausted, slides the clipboard back across the desk. Just this last section, Miss Single. Insurance is all done, thankfully. Please confirm your primary next of kin. I pick up the pen, the cheap, waxy kind that never writes right, and my eyes fall to that unassuming line. Emergency contact. Name. Relationship. Phone. There is a moment of cold, stark clarity that often arrives not in a moment of great crisis, but in a quiet, bureaucratic pause. It happens when you are handed a clipboard, the universal symbol of procedure and paper, and your eyes fall upon a particular unassuming line. Emergency contact. It is the most efficient test of an adult life you can imagine. For most people, the pen moves before the thought registers. A spouse, a parent, a lifelong friend. It is a reflex, a line of defense written in ink. But for a growing number of people, that line is a blank space on the page, and the mind is a frantic, empty vault. The situation is almost always the same. You are already vulnerable. You're in a waiting room, recovering from a minor accident, or trying to manage a sudden, frightening illness. Your focus should be on your health, but the administrative task forces your attention onto something far more personal and painful. The immediate reaction is a spike of panic. It's not about the hospital stay. It's about the sudden, undeniable proof of a life untethered. You stall. You pretend to struggle with the pen. You ask the admissions clerk a pointless, distracting question about parking or procedure. All the while, the mind cycles through names, desperately checking the depth of every shallow relationship accumulated over years. The neighbor option. There is the friendly neighbor you only see when taking out the trash. Would they want a 3 a.m. phone call to discuss your health power of attorney? The old college roommate you text once a year. Is that connection strong enough to handle life and death decisions? The colleague you share coffee with. Does a shared water cooler history constitute an emergency anchor? The ex. Well, at least he or she has known me intimately. Will you be opening the door for a quick, powerful, and sudden death if the relationship ended badly? The realization is brutal. The contacts exist, but the commitment does not. You have people, but you lack an anchor. You realize that your entire social structure is designed for convenience, shared hobbies, professional networking, momentary interaction, not for crisis. In the digital age, we have thousands of followers, but often no one to call when the lights go out. The blank line is a silent accusation. It forces you to acknowledge that if your absence were to be anything more than temporary, no one would immediately know. No one would be looking for the gap. Your pet might run out of food. Your mail might stack up. Your life, defined by its small routines, would simply cease its noise. Finally, a decision must be made, the act of camouflage. Perhaps you write a name down anyway, a faint acquaintance who will be utterly baffled when the hospital calls. This is the act of camouflage, the small deception required to keep up the appearance of a functioning life. Or perhaps you choose the pragmatic solution. The landlord, the HR department, the attorney. You delegate the responsibility of your welfare to a transactional relationship, the person you pay or the person legally required to document you. It is a chilling victory of contract over care. It's a small space, 3 simple blanks. To everyone else, this is a 2-second entry, a bureaucratic formality. Mom's name. Husband's phone. Best friend's work number. It is an act of reflex, but for me that line is a yawning chasm. A depth check on my entire adult life. My mind snaps to a list of non-starters. Dad has been gone for 5 years. Aunt Carol is technically family, but we haven't exchanged more than a holiday card in a decade. I don't even know if she's moved to that retirement community yet. Would she even answer an unknown number? And if she did, what would her first thought be? Martha, oh, why did she put me? Why me? I look up, forcing a brittle, final smile. You know, I just realized I didn't check the back of the form. Could you just remind me what this section covers? My head is a little fuzzy from the headache. The clerk remains patient, unmoving. Certainly, it's the emergency contact section, someone we can call if your condition changes. Name, relationship, and a phone number. Standard procedure. She says it like it's the weather forecast. Standard procedure. But to me, this is a pop quiz on my ability to form meaningful bonds, an exam on my effectiveness at constructing a safety net, and I am failing spectacularly right here in the fluorescent light. I scan the remaining possibilities on my mental roster. Sarah number 2 from the book club. We discuss themes and plot structure. We don't discuss who would feed my cat if I was kept overnight. No. Sarah number 2 would panic and then resent the imposition. Mike, my former coworker. We went to lunch once a month for 3 years. We texted happy birthday this year. That is the entire breadth of that relationship. Putting Mike down would be an unfair burden on a thin, tenuous thread. I lift the pen and scratch a single, hesitant half letter, a J, and immediately stop, realizing that my friend moved to another state last year. I quickly cover the mark with my thumb. I could lie, write down my own number. Then, if they call, I can answer from my bedside. Hello, this is Martha's emergency contact. Yes, she's doing just fine. It's absurd, but it feels less humiliating than admitting the truth to a stranger. I look at the clock on the wall. The second hand ticks with maddening, judgmental slowness. Every tick is a reminder of another minute I've spent alone, accumulating acquaintances instead of anchors. The weight of being untethered settles heavy in my chest. This isn't about the hospital visit, it's about being fundamentally isolated. It's about being sick and realizing that if I don't wake up, no one will check on me, no one will call the job. My bills will go unpaid. My absence will be a lack of noise, not a loss. It will be weeks before anyone notices. My hand shakes, the pen feels heavy. I whisper a sound of defeat. It's the landlord. The clerk asks for clarification. I lift my chin, forcing the final brittle smile. My landlord, Mr. Jensen, he's very responsible. He has a spare key. He would be able to check my apartment. The pen moves, quick and definitive now, like tearing off a painful bandage. I write his name. A man I pay to keep a roof over my head, a man whose primary relationship with me is a legal contract. I write the relationship, landlord, and a phone number I have to look up on my buzzing, unresponsive phone. I have just nominated the person I pay rent to as the person who should be notified in case of my death. I slide the clipboard back. The clerk doesn't blink. She simply accepts the form. She scans the final line, nods curtly, and moves on without comment. Thank you, and who is your primary care physician? The initial dread has passed. It is replaced by a cold, searing resolve. I answered the question. I solved the immediate administrative problem. And I just learned the most terrifying truth about my life. I grab my phone and the pen, jotting down a desperate new to-do list. The doctor's name is easy, the person who keeps my body functional. The next step, the real work, is harder. I need to find the person who will keep my life functional. The sound of the hospital beeping and the hum of the air conditioning slowly swell, then fade. The form is eventually submitted. The procedure continues. The panic subsides, replaced by a cold, hard clarity. You have passed the administrative hurdle, but you have failed the ultimate life assessment. The experience leaves behind a single, profound motivation. Not to heal from the sickness that brought you to the hospital, but to heal the empty space on that form. It is the urgent, quiet imperative to finally build an anchor, to forge a bond stronger than convenience, before the pen rests over that blank line again. That's a powerful and practical question. The realization of having no one to name as an emergency contact is a profound symptom of isolation. The solution isn't just about filling a name on a form, it's about actively building a robust social safety net. For someone who is single and facing this, the path forward involves deliberate action in 3 key areas: immediate logistics, community building, and long-term prevention. Here is an actionable guide based on those steps. 1. Immediate logistics, solving the form today. This is about managing the immediate legal and physical need for a contact, even before deep friendships are forged. The responsible party strategy. The goal here is not an emotional support system, but a functional legal contact who can receive information. Professional fiduciary or attorney. If you have an estate planning attorney, they can often be listed as a temporary contact. They won't provide emotional support, but they are a legal party who can be informed, especially if you have a power of attorney already established. Paid professional contacts. Elder care manager, even if you are not elderly. These professionals are often hired to coordinate medical care and handle logistics. They can legally be your contact, trustworthy coworker or manager. If you have a solid professional relationship, ask a trusted manager or coworker if you can list them solely for work-related notification. E.g., tell my boss I'm hospitalized. Clarify that this is not a medical decision-making role. Financial incentive. In some rare cases, one might agree to a small, formal arrangement with a responsible acquaintance, neighbor, or former colleague, offering a small retainer to be an initial contact in exchange for agreeing to notify specific other parties, like a care service. Legal safeguards, crucial for singles. A name on the form is useless without legal backing. Execute a healthcare power of attorney, POA. This is the single most important step. Appoint someone, even an attorney, a trusted stranger, or a professional fiduciary, who is legally empowered to make medical decisions if you cannot. This clarifies who the hospital must talk to, which is more important than the name on the contact line. Establish a care network protocol. Draft a document listing your doctors, medications, financial accounts, and who to notify, even if it's a paid service or distant relative. Keep this file labeled and easily accessible, e.g. in a go bag or prominent spot. 2. Community building, finding help and connection. To avoid the blank line in the future, you must actively build connections that can deepen into true friendship. This requires intentional effort and vulnerability. Where to find genuine connections? Volunteer work, best for purpose-driven bonds. Volunteer for a cause you deeply believe in. Animal shelter, food bank, literacy program. These environments naturally filter for people with shared values, creating a stronger foundation for friendship than just a shared activity. Hobby-based classes, best for consistent interaction. Join a consistent, long-running class, pottery, woodworking, advanced language lessons, or fitness groups. Consistency is key. Relationships deepen when you see the same people every week for months. Meet-up groups with a shared goal. Look for groups focused on a shared goal, not just socializing. Hiking clubs that train for a trail, groups that meet to write a novel, or book clubs that genuinely discuss the literature. The shared task creates necessary interaction and reliance. Join a spiritual or community group. Faith-based institutions, community centers, or philosophical groups often have formalized support networks built into their structure. Deacon teams, care committees. The practice of vulnerability. Stop saying I'm fine. When a trusted acquaintance asks how you are, tell them a small, non-critical truth. I'm a little overwhelmed with work right now, or I had a minor car issue today. This signals that you are human and opens the door for them to offer a small kindness. Proactively offer help first. Become the anchor you are seeking. Offer to water a neighbor's plants, help a coworker move a box, or bring food to a sick friend. Reciprocity is a powerful builder of social capital. Host small gatherings. It is easier to maintain relationships if you are the one organizing the connection. Host a simple potluck, a board game night, or a movie viewing. People feel valued when they are invited. 3. Conclusion. What to do to avoid this from ever happening again? The problem is solved not by finding one name, but by building a redundant system of care. The single person's goal should be to replace the traditional family support structure with a personal board of directors or a circle of care. The board of directors model, the legal contact, a professional or family member with the official health POA. The emotional contact, a true friend or two who is genuinely invested in your well-being. The proximity contact, a trusted neighbor or acquaintance with a spare key who can check on your physical location, home, pets, etc. The financial contact, an accountant or attorney who knows where your essential documents are. Avoiding the blank line forever, requires moving beyond passive waiting. It means accepting that deep connection is a resource that must be cultivated, maintained, and valued as much as financial security. The ultimate prevention is the deliberate choice to invest time in the people around you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content that helps you, hit that like button so I know you want more of this. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new video. Your support is what keeps this channel going. Thanks for watching.